You're on camera. Like, pay attention. Hey guys, it's Michaela back again with another video for the first time in... what is time, really? If I'm not mistaken, I believe the last video that I filmed and posted was my April wrap-up, and here we are, pretty close to the end of May, and I haven't posted since. I'm sorry about that. This has been, for myself and for a couple other people, a rough time. I'm having a little bit of a rough go of it. Sort of having trouble, like, maintaining myself? No, that sounds wrong. I'm having trouble focusing. I'm having trouble, like, keeping my energy throughout the day and sort of motivating myself to do, like, anything. I basically stopped reading for like almost 2 weeks. I started a book on May 1st and I was very excited because I was like, May, I'm bringing it back, I'm gonna start reading more. And it took 12 or 13 days to finish that one book. It was not long. I will talk about it when I get to my May wrap-up video. And there was no reason for it to have taken me that long, but I've just had trouble with kind of just like every basic element of life. But within the past, I would say week, I've actually started getting back into the swing of things, at least when it comes to reading. Not so much other aspects of my life, but at least I can start reading again. But that's not what this video is about. This video is not about my like shitty brain or what I've been reading. This is about the little book buying splurge that I did today. So 2 days a week I have to go into my office to do work for a couple hours, and then I just come home. But on my way home today I decided to stop in really quick at the Goodwill bookstore that is not too far away from my apartment. And I've been feeling this like overwhelming urge to buy books. Like, I feel like everybody's had their thing during quarantine, right? Like the thing that they've become like weirdly obsessive with. Like, for some people it's like baking, and for some people it's been like makeup and skincare, stuff like that. For me, I just felt like this overwhelming urge to like purchase books, not read them, just purchase them, which is like not an advisable use of money. But I did it anyway. So this is the stack of books that I purchased at Goodwill today. There are 10 of them and it cost me $40 even, so $4 a book, which I don't think is that bad. So I'm just gonna talk real briefly about the books I purchased and why I purchased them, and certainly not what I think about them because I haven't read them yet. But so obviously this is a Goodwill bookstore, which means that all of these books are books that have been donated. So these are previously loved books, which we love, we stan in this household. But it also means that the selection is limited by what other people have and what other people have gotten rid of. So that means, unfortunately, that the poetry section of this bookstore is pretty sparse. I don't think people particularly buy or own a lot of poetry collections, and if they do, they probably aren't going to necessarily donate them very much. So I got 3 little poetry collections. 2 of these are by poets I have read before, just in, creative writing classes and poetry workshops and stuff like that. So this is Picnic Lightning by Billy Collins, and then just selected poems by E.E. Cummings. I really like all of the E.E. Cummings that I read in the past. I just love the sort of the style of it, that the whole, all lowercase thing that E.E. Cummings is known for is something that I tried to emulate a lot in my own poetry when I was taking classes in undergrad. I don't do that anymore, but that was something I was just like really attached to, so I really like that. It is strange. I don't know if I've ever seen E, like the E, the E, and the C capitalized before. It's a little jarring, but so I'm just excited to delve into this. I've never read a dedicated E.E. Cummings collection before. It's always been like just parts of other things that I've read, or just individual poems that I've had to read. You do this, you're on camera, like, pay attention. Other poems that I've had to read for class, like individually. Okay guys, I'm gonna be really honest with you. I am reading on the back. This is the first selection from the poems of E.E. Cummings to be published since 1959, 3 years before his death. I'm almost 25 years old, and this is the first time learning that E.E. Cummings is a guy. Straight up, like, my entire life thought E.E. Cummings was a woman. I don't know why I thought this. I don't think I was ever told. But I truly believed my entire life that E.E. Cummings was a woman. So I have a master's degree. Billy Collins, more of the same. I am not as familiar with his work or his life. I'm apparently not familiar with any poets' lives. But I'm not as familiar with his work as I am with E.E. Cummings. I've probably only read a very small handful of Billy Collins poems over my academic career. And I don't even remember if I liked them or not. But I saw it there. It was like $1, I think. Oh, and it was $3, so I was like, fucking sure. And then this last one is Interrogations at Noon by Donna Gioia. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce the first name. The picture on the back is of a man-seeming person. So I don't know if it's Dana or Donna or whatever. I mean, Gioia is an Italian last name, so I don't know. I don't know anything about this, but I don't know, it had a cool cover, and it won the American Book Award, so I'll give it a shot. Fuck, what do I care? So actually, the first thing that caught my eye when I walked into the store and like first started perusing were their collection of Robert Galbraith books. Robert Galbraith, as you probably know, is the pen name for J.K. Rowling when she started writing non-Harry Potter books after Harry Potter came out. I was glad to get these at the Goodwill bookstore because not super keen on giving J.K. Rowling my money. We don't support transphobes in this household. And I may do a little video at a later date sort of talking about my feelings about J.K. Rowling and about Harry Potter and about loving Harry Potter in 2020 when the people who create the things that we love and the things that like raised us turned out to be pretty shitty. But that's not what this video is about. So I recognize that J.K. Rowling is not fantastic and has said and done some really problematic things, not just to and about trans people, but I am curious about these, you know? J.K. Rowling is really interesting as a writer because I've never thought that her writing is particularly like strong in terms of like her language or her sort of like the more nuts and bolts parts of writing. Like what I always thought her strength was, at least for Harry Potter, was the world building. Obviously, like you cannot argue that the woman knows how to build a fucking world, right? So these books, which are more realist, I believe, I have not read them, probably are not going to rely on that world building aspect quite as much. So I am interested to see how that works, I guess, how her writing works in here. I've heard a lot of very mixed things about the about the Robbie G books. Some people I have known said that they were fantastic. Some said they were terrible. Some said they were okay. Some said they weren't really like anything to write home about, but certainly not bad. You know, I've heard a lot of different things. So I don't really know what to expect at all. From what I gathered, it was kind of hard to do this kind of research. I was holding all of these books in my hands as I was moving around the Goodwill and I was trying to like look things up on my phone. But so I think Cuckoo's Calling, I know it was the first one that came out. I'm like 98% sure it was the first one that came out under this pen name of Galbraith. These two I think are the first and second in a series, and I don't think that series is connected to this one. I picked up 3, there were others there, but they were like $4 a piece, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like these. So I picked up 3. I think these 2 are related and this one is not, but I don't super know, and I guess we'll find out when I start reading and I get really confused. But yeah, glad to get these secondhand and not put money into transphobes' pockets. These next 2 books were books that I just picked up because they looked interesting. I truly don't really know anything about them. This one, The Lighthouse Keeper's Daughter, just caught my eye because, you know, the last name is Gaynor, so it was like right after the Galbraith books. And I mean, look, it's just a pretty cover. It's a pretty cover. It seems to like take place in 2 different periods of time, 100 years apart, 1838 and 1938, and it's like this woman sort of like, the 1938 woman is sort of like investigating the past of this ancestor. I don't really know. The cover feels nice and it looks pretty. You know, it's got nice font work happening. It says it's inspired by true events, which I didn't even see when I picked it up. But what I really like about it is that it doesn't look super heavy. To sort of kickstart my my reading again, I read a bunch of very short books that I had which is great because I was able to read them mostly in one sitting, and it was easy for me to just sort of like start and keep going until I stopped. The problem was that the books I picked were like mega bummers. And mega bummers are not what I need right now. I don't know if this was a mega bummer, but it doesn't seem like a super mega bummer. It might not be like a peppy up book, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna really be haunting, like in an emotional way, not like a ghost way. I could be wrong though. Again, honestly, it was just a pretty cover, so sue me. The other one was On Such a Full Sea by Chang-Rae Lee. I love getting books secondhand, by the way, because you get weird things like this little Norman Rockwell sticker on the spine. Why is it there? I don't know, but I enjoy it. Again, this one was sort of sticking out. Instead of being on the shelf like this, it was fully facing me like this, and so I was like, well, someone put it on display, so they must want me to take a look at it, and I did. And it seems to be a sort of future dystopian, possibly. Again, I very lightly skimmed the inside of it. In a long declining future America, abandoned urban neighborhoods have been repurposed as secure, self-contained labor settlements. So that's interesting. The Oprah magazine says it's a landmark novel about love and war, impossible to put down. So what am I gonna do, like fucking argue with Oprah? Again, I walked into this Goodwill mostly looking to spend money on books, and that's what I did. So I think I succeeded. The last two books that I purchased, again, I did my best to do research while holding this like absolute mountain of books in my hands and like scrolling on my phone. But I got two books by Anne Rice. They actually had like a weird, like huge collection of Anne Rice books. So I'm hoping that if I like it, I can go back and get more. Again, from what research I could do in about 30 seconds with my left hand scrolling on my phone. This is the first book in a series, and this is the second book in that same series. I really hope so. It would suck if I fucked that up. This is The Witching Hour, and this is Lasher. I have never read an Anne Rice book. From what I have been told, it's just like sexy vampires, which is like, what else do you need? Like, what else could I ask for at this time? Like nothing. There's a pandemic happen, give me vampires who fuck. I haven't read Interview with the Vampire. I hear that's very good. I hear that the movie is very good. Haven't seen it. You know, for someone who loves vampires, for whom vampires probably my favorite like mythological being, I am like woefully underread and underwatched when it comes to the vampire canon. So I don't know if these have anything to do with vampires. These are just the two that I could reasonably guess were a part of a series, or at least were like connected and not in the middle of a series. Again, I hope. But I mean, they're big honkers, so they should last me a while, I hope. So those were the books that I picked up at Goodwill today. I'm very excited. I don't know when I'm going to start reading any of them, because again, the point of this trip was not to get books to read. It was just to get books. I don't know why. I spent $40 today, and like my first thought is like, but what if I just went and like bought more? And I'm like, who's messaging me? Stop it. Don't talk to me. I'm like, why is this the thing? Like, why couldn't I have a cheaper hobby than fucking books? I don't know. I am still waiting on my the books that I ordered from my local indie bookshop. I knew that they were going to be delayed. I got a message like just a few days after I placed the order saying that 2 of the books were on back order, and I told them that that was fine, like because they do free in-town delivery, like they will just like drive it to my house or my apartment. So I told them like to just wait and do it all at once. I was not in any rush, and I'm still not in any rush. I'm not like complaining that they're not here yet. I don't care. But that's why I haven't done that haul video. It's just I don't have them yet. But when I do, I'm going to run out of room on my TBR shelves, because I only have 2 shelves on my bookshelves that are like dedicated to TBR, and well, these books absolutely took up the last remaining space, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with the other ones when they come in. I guess I gotta start reading faster. So I put on makeup for this, and I put on a bra for this, so I am probably going to film a second video right now, because I am, as I'm recording this, about 30 pages away from the end of Crazy Rich Asians, and that is not a book that I thought I was going to have big thoughts and feelings about. I thought it was just gonna be like a fun little read, but I've been like yelling at my walls for like a day now, so I should yell at you instead. But that is all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching and for being patient with me. I hope that you guys are getting through this quarantine as best as you can. I hope that you are following the protocols and guidelines wherever you live to keep yourselves and your neighbors safe. If you are bored, I have several other videos that are just as chaotic and bad as this one, so feel free to indulge. You got the time. So like I said, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.